can start with the first paper, Community Pacts and we4SLE as tools to support the implementation of smart learning environments. The presenter is Irina.
Yes. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning, Irina. So I can give you the floor. We have 15 minutes for each presentation.
Okay. Now I want to talk about community packs and we4SLE as tools to support the implementation of smart learning ecosystems. First, let's start with an introduction about the current school system in Italy. In fact, our school system appears to be very obsolete, and we can say that it evolves at a different speed than our society. In fact, our society requires us some skills that the school doesn't teach. So we can find the phenomena of skill mismatch. We can say also that school has lost its centrality to the territory of reference. So the main question is how to recover this centrality. One way is by using learning ecosystems that are trying to solve this problem. And learning ecosystems can be seen as engines of social innovation and territorial development. So now we can say that we are in a stalemate. In fact, the productive world just limits to report critical issues. And instead, policymakers and governments show an enormous slowness in taking reforms. So how to do this transformation? Well, we need two main values, commitment and awareness. In fact, we have to question the nature and role of the school system nowadays, and especially consider the expectations of the various stakeholders. So the school is the key of this transformation. We need to bring school back to the center of their communities of reference. And school is the key because it has a lot of advantages. In fact, schools in general have a regulated territorial coverage. They constitute the most widespread territorial network of a country. And schools support the growth of future generations of citizens. So what we need to do is to change citizen perception about school, and people should consider schools as driving force for the growth of the whole territory. So we have two main goals now. The first one is to prepare students 360 degrees, and the other one is to transform schools into veritable smart learning ecosystems. But how to do this? So we need some boundary conditions. First of all, we need a strong, flexible regulatory framework that can be contextualized and customized. Then we need a principal of the school with adequate leadership and networking skills. Then we need teachers able to involve students and families. And so students will be attracted and will contribute to the growth of the community. So our main goal is to transfer all these skills to the school and its teachers. So this process will be replicated over time. Also, in order to create a learning ecosystem, we need real interest from all territorial stakeholders. But to build this interest, we need everyone to know the community and its features and its values. We also need to make people resources available, both skills and material resources. So we need some way to collect all these resources and figure out who made what available. So now we will focus on the opportunities offered by the Italian context, in particular referring to secondary schools. In Italy, the Ministry of Education has defined a regulatory framework, and this framework suggests some tools. In particular, we have participatory evaluation, co-design, improvement plans, alternation schemes, certification of competencies, and in particular community packs. Now let's focus on community packs, where agreements between a school and territory, and they were strongly pushed by the ministry during the pandemic. Their Their goal was to sustain the search for spaces and resources. Community pacts also identify shared solutions to serious problems, and they want to reinforce the sense of identity and to increase the smartness of territories and cities. So we start from one community pact in particular, the one of Amaldi High School, an high school here in Rome. And we want to start from this community pact and develop a learning ecosystem. We choose this pact because it has two goals, like implementing a community school, and it wants to take advantage of skill and competencies of each member of the community to counteract educational poverty and skill gap. So in order to reveal the state of this community and understand the point of start, we conducted a survey. From this survey, we can understand that there's a lower sense of ownership and identity toward the schools, in students and stakeholders, and they little recognize themselves in the territorial reality. On the other hand, we found out that some categories of community members are ready to collaborate actively with the school, and they believe that school can become a cultural hub and a pole of attraction. With the open-ended questions, we found out that students didn't understand properly the values on which the pact is based. Instead, teachers and stakeholders were more conscious. In fact, with their answers, we built this word cloud. So starting from this situation, the goals are to strengthen the relationship between school and territory and counteract critical phenomena, like, for example, the dropout. So starting from these needs, we think that it's necessary to introduce a web support. This web support should increase the sense of ownership and identity toward the schools. And it should make people recognize themselves in a territorial reality and understand the values of the community. This web support should also collect people resources and support participatory activities. But the question is how to design this web support, and in particular, how to design this environment that will support the development of learning ecosystem without overlapping existing tools, for example, social media. So we started the design process by conducting some interviews and focus groups with the school principal and other territorial stakeholders, and we come out with some functionalities. Then we checked if these functionalities were considered useful from the other members of the community. Everybody agrees with the fact that a web portal is really useful for this goal. And the sections that were considered the most useful were the resources collection, competencies micro-certification, and competencies bank. The participatory evaluation section was considered less useful, but we decided to introduce it anyway because it's really important in the development of a learning ecosystem. So here is the web portal that we realized. It's called we4SLE, We for Smart Learning Ecosystems, and it was realized using a WordPress responsive layout. We have to say that it offers an open template environment, so it could be used by other schools wishing to implement a smart learning ecosystem, starting from a community pact. Here we see the basic structure of this web portal. We have 4 main categories: community, activities, micro-certifications, and participatory activities. These percentages represent a preliminary estimation of the usefulness of each section. In fact, the section that was considered the most useful is the micro-certifications one, and the less useful, as we said before, is considered the participatory activities one. So what to do next? Our next steps are, first of all, conduct usability tests and liking tests with all categories of stakeholders. Then we will conduct other focus groups. And the third step is to conduct preliminary usage tests. So we will verify the effectiveness of this portal and if this web portal supports the growth of the local community and the growth of the smart level of learning, the smartness level of a learning ecosystem. And that's all. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Irene. That was a very interesting presentation, really. And thank you for sharing with us. It was very interesting to listen to this great idea of having a school system, to my understanding, that is going to be open to the society. So students, teachers, parents can interact with the society, and by providing, we all know as educators how important is the authentic learning. I need to make a comment on this initiative. This reminds me another project sometime. It's called Open Schools for Open Societies. It was a project, it was an initiative funded by the European Union. I think the target is common, to create a school that is open to the society, that leads the society. And it's not the only in Italy that the school system is obsolete. Usually in most countries, I can provide my own experience from Greece, the school is lagging behind the society. So it's good to have this kind of initiatives. Have you thought about any way to assess the impact of this initiative on the school, on the teachers, on the parents? I mean, how you can evaluate if this, of course, this is towards the end of the implementation. How you going to evaluate if actually this project reaches the goals?
We will conduct tests, surveys, and we are just in touch with the school and the principal of the school. So she is helping us to reach the students and teachers. So the principal is our helper in this toward this goal.
So maybe I can add an additional comment to that. As you know, Stavros, we have defined within the SLERD the so-called smartness, school smartness. And actually, as you know, is a very complex, I mean, is a multidimensional construct that has a different, many different factors. And we used in the past this participatory co-evaluation with the parents, stakeholders, teachers, and students, in order to see the difference that has been generated year by year by the new action that was taken by the school. With respect to that time, the difference is that participatory evaluation was concerning only the school action by themselves. Now the difference that the school, due to the territory pact, can be put in let's say in a more strict relationship with the territory. So once that you have created the community, you can also evaluate in the same way the effect that this opening of the school to the society will provide. So that, I don't know if I've answered to your question or not.
Yeah, it's clear. Thank you, Carlo and Irina, because there are many stakeholders involved, like school level, student level. It's kind of challenging, but now I think the picture is clear, and thank you very much.
But anyway, your question is a fundamental one, because actually there are a lot of pacts in Italy, school pacts, but of course the actors do not know how to evaluate the outcomes of any action.